Hello everyone. This is Spoiler Lab. Today we're going to talk about a 2020 thriller called Songbird. For several years now, humanity has been plagued by the COVID-19 virus, a more dangerous and deadly mutation of COVID-19. Quarantine measures have been steadily tightened, and the Department of Health has been accused of corruption. Los Angeles has become a closed quarantine zone. A delivery man named Nico drives around the city. He chooses to do this job because he is immune to the virus. After delivering an item to one of the customers, he drives further along his route, since there are many more orders. Nico has no idea what he is about to go through. The Griffin family spends time at home. Daughter Emma asks her mother Piper if her friend can come over, but her mother says they don't accept guests. Emma is immunocompromised, so contracting the virus would be fatal to her. The girl regularly checks herself for infection with her smartphone. A news story reports on the opening of a new quarantine area with hellish conditions. Piper is contacted by a man. He wants to get out of town and asks for her help since she has connections at the security checkpoints. She tells him that one bracelet will cost $150,000 and the man agrees. Piper passes the information on to a man named Emmett, who works for the Department of Health. Nico arrives at the Griffin's house with the order. He places the packages in a disinfecting device, takes the money, and leaves. The delivery man calls his girlfriend Sarah, who is cooped up with her grandmother. She says she misses him very much and can't wait for him to come over. Nico goes to his house. On the way, he meets soldiers who try to detain him, but he shows them a yellow bracelet, which means he is immune, and they let him through. Nico puts the money he received from the Griffins today with the rest. He is collecting it for bracelets to help Sarah and her grandmother leave her apartment. Nico brings Sarah a box of pencils since the girl likes to draw. He gets a call from his boss because it's time to deliver packages again. He says goodbye and goes to work. In the evening, Nico watches a movie on a projector while chatting with Sarah on a video call. Sarah's grandmother shows up and he asks her to join them, but Sarah is horrified to learn that her grandmother is ill. A truck pulls up to the house with medics in hazmat suits. A loudspeaker informs her that if she tries to leave the house, deadly force will be used. The medics start banging on Sarah's door, but Emmett, a supervisor from the Ministry of Health, says that this is the wrong apartment and they want the one next door. A neighbor runs out and asks Sarah to let her in. When things quiet down, Emmett informs the girl that there has been an outbreak of the disease in their building, triggered by their neighbor. He tries to find out if she has violated the lockdown, but she says they are following the rules. The man reminds her to check her temperature in the morning and then leaves. Wearing gloves and hiding her nose and mouth behind a bandage, Sarah goes to give her grandmother medicine. Even though the woman asks her to stay away, her granddaughter says she won't leave her. Nico arrives. Sarah, distraught, says that the results of this morning's temperature test are enough to have her taken away with her grandmother. Nico says he won't let her be taken away, so he stays sitting by the door. Lester's delivery worker, Dozer, sends money to May, a singer who sells her songs online. She agrees to chat with him and the man tells her that he found himself confined to a wheelchair after the war, so he stopped leaving the house even before the pandemic. William, Piper's husband, tries to leave the house at night, which does not go unnoticed by his wife. The man says he has been informed of the availability of bracelets that they need. Piper asks if he realizes how dangerous his trips are for their daughter and asks him to burn his clothes after he arrives home. Emma feels guilty because if it weren't for her illness, her parents would be free to leave the house, but Piper says she does not need to go out without her daughter. In reality, however, William has gone to see May, who is his mistress. Against all security measures, he removes his and her masks and kisses her. In the early morning hours, Piper sees her husband burning his clothes. Nico wakes up at Sarah's door. She checks her grandmother's temperature and she has an unexpectedly high fever. An armed medical team is on its way. Nico asks Sarah to run away with him right now because otherwise, they'll take her too, but she says she won't leave her grandmother. He says he'll get the right badge bracelets today and come back for her. Nico calls Lester, trying to find out where he can get the bracelets. He talks about how he's been getting them to the Griffins all along. Nico collects all the money he has saved up and goes to their mansion, but is turned down. Piper isn't happy that Nico found out about their business at all and is determined to find out how it happened. She sends him to an address, saying that they will help him with the passes. There are already soldiers standing outside Sarah's door, and her grandmother is getting worse. After she says that she is happy about how her granddaughter and Nico love each other, she dies. Meanwhile, Nico arrives at the abandoned warehouse, where Emmett is already waiting for him. He offers him a cigarette, but he refuses. Emmett thinks that cigarettes are the only thing that can kill him now because he is also immune. A health department official asks for the full name of who the bracelet is made for and he senses that it's a trap. Emmett stabs Nico, but he manages to escape. The man sends armed SWAT teams after him, but Nico is rescued by a man named Boomer. He tells him that people who know too much are killed in that warehouse all the time. The man helps Nico escape from the building. William calls Lester and tells him about the courier's visit. He asks for Nico's GPS coordinates or his delivery service will have to find a replacement. But Lester covers for the courier, saying that he turned off his GPS. Piper is furious that Emmett failed to deal with Nico and says he has to finish the job. May tells Dozer that William was a major music producer before the pandemic, which is what brought her to Los Angeles. But after the virus began to spread, she became stuck there and is very lonely. As they talk, May gets a message. William wants to see her tonight. Dozer asks if everything is okay, but May says she can handle it. After bandaging his wound, Nico calls Sarah. Crying, she tells him about her grandmother's death, and the news that he couldn't get a pass makes it even worse for her. Nico says he has an idea, but to execute it, Sarah will have to hide during the break-in to buy him some time. The nighttime curfew begins. William keeps texting May, but she says she doesn't want to see him. He tells her he's coming to see her. Their conversation is overheard by Piper. May tells William that she has a video of him offering her a pass bracelet, and if he doesn't leave her alone, she will post it on the internet. The furious man looks for a gun in his safe, but it turns out that Piper had already taken it. She says her husband has put the whole family at risk by letting May record herself. William asks her to return the gun so he can solve the problem, but Piper kicks him out. Nico drives up to their house. He sees William leaving and sneaks into the yard. Piper calls May and tells her that her husband has checked out. She warns the girl that it is best not to wait for him to arrive. May thanks the woman. Lester sees that Nico's GPS indicates that he is at the Griffin's house. He's afraid of what the boy might do, so he calls Piper with a warning about an uninvited guest. She hides Emma in the bathroom. Piper corners Nico. He tells her that just as she cares about her daughter, he cares about Sarah, so he asks her for help. Piper gives Nico a bracelet but asks that he not make her regret it. Meanwhile, Emmett and his medical team are already storming Sarah's apartment. While he's looking for the girl, she knocks out one of the medics and puts on a hazmat suit. She almost manages to leave the house, but Emmett, mistaking her for a medic, orders her to help transport her grandmother's body. After carrying the body to the truck, Sarah escapes. Soon Emmett finds the medic unconscious and realizes what had happened. May is about to leave the apartment. As she tries to start her car, she sees William approaching. He tries to strangle the singer, but a drone launched by Dozer kills the man. May is deeply shocked by what has happened. Emmett manages to catch Sarah. He realizes that if she has spent so much time with her infected grandmother and has not become infected, it means she is immune. She asks to be let go, but Emmett refuses and tells his subordinates to take her to a quarantine camp. Nico arrives at the girl's house and finds Emmett there. He tells him how before the pandemic started, he was just a garbage truck driver for the health department. But after all the management died, he appointed himself as the new boss. The man says that Nico just doesn't understand how beneficial it is to be immune and do whatever he wants. He thinks they are gods in this new world where everyone is doomed to die because of the disease. Emmett tries to kill him, but Nico stabs Emmett in the neck with a pencil. Nico says there is one other thing that can kill him besides cigarettes. Nico asks Lester to help him find the right vehicle, so he brings in Dozer and his drone. They manage to find the truck they need, but it's almost at the quarantine camp, so Nico needs to hurry. He arrives just in time to see Sarah get out of the truck. SWAT teams are standing around with guns drawn. Nico hugs her and asks her to trust him. They try to take Sarah to the quarantine camp, but he has already managed to put a bracelet on her arm. The officials of the Ministry of Health check the data on it and realize that the bracelet is real. They have no choice but to let Sarah go. The happy couple kisses, since they haven't seen each other in person for a long time. Nico lets Lester know that he made it and now they will leave town. The boss is happy for his courier. 3 months later, Piper watches the news, which reports how William and Emmett have set up their certificate trade. The evidence for the accusation was provided by Piper and May themselves. Lester receives a package from Nico. In the letter, he thanks Lester again. The guy is convinced that all this time they weren't just delivering packages, they were bringing people hope. In the package for Lester is a yellow immunity bracelet. Nico believes that soon everyone will be able to get out of their apartments again and return to normal activities, so he asks him to promise to never give up on him. That's all for now. Thank you all for watching. Which movie do you want to see next? Let me know in the comments. See you all next time.